I'm gonna make beef stew today. I'm actually making lamb stew because I don't care for beef stew. And it's actually my mother-in-law's recipe. I always did it if I had to work late because I could put it in the crock pot for 8 to 10 hours. And then, you know, when I got home at like 7 o'clock at night, I didn't have to cook the meal. So it would be all set. It makes a whole bunch of meals. So if you wanted to bring your lunch to work, which is cheaper than buying it down the street, I would put it in a container and bring it to work. It would last like a couple of days, 3 or 4 days for the stew. I always prepped it the night before. It takes probably like a half an hour to prep it. So that means that I cut up the lamb or the beef. I put some flour on it, some pepper, and then I put it in a frying pan and cooked it up, just browning it a lot. You don't have to cook it all the way through. Then I cut up onions, which is 2 onions, then a bunch of celery, then a pound of carrots, and this just takes hardly any time at all. It looks like it would, but it really doesn't. The other little cheat thing that I do, peel and cut up your potatoes, and then you just put them in a Ziploc and then put water in it and put it in a bag. You could do it like Sunday night, you know, and that would be all set for the next day. The other tip is whatever vegetables that you have in the refrigerator that you're trying to get rid of, you can just put them in the stew. We had like leftover green beans, and I'm gonna throw those in. I'm gonna add everything in. First thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add the beef in to the crock pot here. It's still off, I haven't turned it on yet. Just gonna throw that all in, just like that. The next thing I'll add is the vegetables, which is the onions and celery and carrots. I'm gonna just rinse off the potatoes because I put them in this water and they've been sitting in the water. So I'm just gonna rinse it off and then put them into the container. And I'm gonna place the potatoes in there. I'm gonna add these green beans. This will be pretty full. And this is the better than beef, so I'm gonna add 2 teaspoons because it's a teaspoon per cup. I know on the thing it says boiling water, but I just use hot water from my sink. And I'm gonna add 8 cups of this. So this will be 4. But you can use other broth. If you have like homemade like broth at home, you can use that. And this broth is different than some of the broths that you see on other people's recipes. This is not a gravy broth. It's more of a thinner looking broth. It's still brown and everything, but it's not as, it doesn't have the thick gravy. And then I'm gonna put a bay leaf in here. I'm gonna add 2. Because you have to remove bay leaves after it's all done because you don't want to eat those. The other thing, I'm gonna just put a little pepper in here. When it's done, and you can just test it to see if you need to add anything. You don't usually need salt, but you never know. Okay, I'm gonna put it to high because that'll be less time. It takes like 4 to 5 hours. But if you were gonna go to work and you knew you were gonna be really late, then you can just put it on low and it takes like 8 to 10 hours. And I've been later than that and it's still been fine.